Joined now on the broadcast behind the mic with Marlon Martens, the voice of the westernmost team in the CHL, the Victoria Royals. Marlon, I'm going to leave this wide open for you to talk about the end of last season, the longest game in WHL history for your team. Unfortunately, they end up on the losing end. Walk us through that for your team and maybe walk us through what that's like for a broadcaster.
Turned out to be the longest game in CHL history, and I went in clean shaven and I came out with a beard. It was crazy. 8 periods of hockey and game number 6 against the Everett Silvertips. At one point, I remember thinking this game will never end. It just kept going and going, and it turned out to be a breakaway for Everett, and they ended up scoring top corners. So it was a good goal the way that things ended. Sadly, though, for the Victoria Royals, and I had a colored guy, and I looked over the booth, the Everett Silvertips play-by-play broadcaster, and I really felt sorry for him. I mean, he had nobody, but he threw his lungs out, his trachea shredded, and he had nothing left after that. He couldn't even talk after that goal call. It was spectacular, and all the tweets and the notoriety and everything that came with it, it was spectacular. The concessions ran out of foods. In fact, they had to reopen them at one point. We started in the afternoon, thank goodness, so that it wasn't like a late start to the game, and it was an afternoon game. A lot of the fans were able to stick it out, but it was unreal, and something I will never forget.
Obviously, unfortunate that your team ends up losing, but you're probably so tired at the end of the game that was almost like a silver lining. A lot of talent on the Royals team now, though, number of players with ties to NHL clubs. Tell us about the expectations in Victoria and highlight those players that are linked to NHL squads.
Start with the 20-year-olds, the overagers. Tyler Soy back from Anaheim Ducks camp. He was a 7th-round pick. 2 seasons ago, he had 42 goals in the Western Hockey League. The week before last, he was the CHL Player of the Week. This guy is unbelievable offensively, and not only that, but great in the defensive zone. He's so smart. I've never seen a guy steal so many pucks and pick so many pockets. So that's Tyler Soy. They've also got Chaz Redicott back as an overager, another 20-year-old, but he's a defenseman, and this guy is a physical specimen. Unbelievable. Big, strong. He can hit you and is great back there. So he has a lot of veteran experience for the Royals. So those are 2 guys. And he is a signed pick of the Los Angeles Kings. And then you've got Matthew Phillips. He's a guy 2 seasons ago was the WHL Rookie of the Year. And then last season, he had 50 goals. So Matthew Phillips is named captain this year for the Victoria Royals. Here's a guy, he does everything for the team, but he's only 5'7", and he can do it. He set the record at the Max Midget tournament when he played there several years ago. Excellent to see him excel and now be the captain of the Victoria Royals. So it's really exciting to see. And then also a defenseman. He's an 18-year-old forward, is Scott Walford, a 3rd-round pick of the Montreal Canadiens. Big, steady back there, does everything right, stay-at-home D-man, but then also can jump up and help out on the power play. And so the greatest guy in the world that you'll ever meet will shake your hand. He's got all day for you. Super kid, Scott Walford for the Victoria Royals. Those 4 guys are the drafted guys, and they're super for this team.
Is this a team that's expected to contend in the WHL this year?
With the amount of veterans that they have in this group, there's a lot to be excited for. Cautiously optimistic, I think, is the way you got to go about things. Great start to the season. They've won 9 games out of 13 so far. They start up really, really well. And then they were able to get Soy and Redicott back from American Hockey League teams. So they've got a lot of depth up front. When you look at the clubs and you get your 3 overagers, and then they have 9 that are in the 19-year-old group, tons of depth. And then they've got other guys that are coming up that are like Ryan Peckford, who is C-rated for the upcoming draft. They got Igor Martinov from Belarus. This kid's unbelievable. Great skill. And then Walford's in that group with the 18-year-olds, and Jeremy Masola's big hulking beast. And then guys who are taking another step forward. Centerman Eric Florchuk, he's in his draft year. Kate Oliver, Dino Cambites, who's this crazy specimen of an athlete. It's real exciting to think of what this team can do this year out here on the West Coast.
I wanted to ask, too, about the goaltender, Griffin Outhouse. Fans in the WHL tout him. A lot of fans tout him as one of the better goaltenders in the league, but as we discussed before I hit record, size working against him, is that more of an issue, do you think, at the pro level? How does he play in the junior WHL?
The way I see it, the scouts are hung up on this 6'2", 6'1". We don't look at you if you're under that, if you're a netminder. I think they're crazy. This goaltender, Griffin Outhouse, is unbelievable. Came in as a listed netminder, and he's done nothing but excel. Outhouse is unbelievable. You wouldn't believe how many times he has made the plays of the week or the saves of the week. He is athletic and he has really honed his skill. He can keep his torso upright when he makes a split save. The amount of cross crease left to right saves that he makes with the glove is spectacular. He's even got an outhouse on his helmet. He's fantastic. And I think that while he did attend Vegas Golden Knights camp in the summer, and he left a really good impression there, I think people would be crazy to pass up on him. So really blessed to have Outhouse between the pipes.
Well, we'll see if we end up hearing more from him down the line, and it sounds like there could be some good things brewing out in Victoria. So from the easternmost team to the westernmost team, we thank you for joining us, Marlon.
Anytime, Patrick. It's been a blast.
That's Marlon Martens, the voice of the Victoria Royals. Best of luck to him and the Royals this season. You're listening to Carstar, Cape Breton Screaming Eagles Hockey, 1270 CJCB.